Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, hello out there in the universe. Captain Starchild coming at you here. They tell me I'm Commander now, Commander Starchild of the Galactic Federation of Light, Anishinaabe, Holy Man of the Medewawin, Grand Medicine Lodge, here in the divine royal sacred realm of Trinistria. Why being a member of Oklevueha Native American Church will benefit you. Community, ceremony, protection. It provides you a means to receive your constitutional rights in attending earth-based Indigenous American Native spiritually empowering and healing ceremonies, especially Native American Church Indigenous ceremonies that involve sacraments, peyote, cannabis, ayahuasca, etc., that are otherwise illegal for non-members to partake and or be in possession of. Attending and or utilizing earth-based Indigenous American Native spiritually empowering and healing ceremonies such as blessing way, sacred breath, holy anointing by the laying on of hands, marriage blanket, etc., that may or may not use Oklevueha Native American Church sacraments in their ceremonies. Educating court-appointed attorneys on how the law Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act of 2000 will assist him or her to successfully represent you against any and all misguided federal and or state judicial prosecutions. It provides connection with federally recognized Native American churches that are legally authorized to practice earth-based Indigenous American Native spiritually empowering and healing ceremonies on or off Indian reservations and in the United States Navy. ONAC, medicine people, Kuran Doctor, Elder, Mara Akame, Reverend, Roadman, Sacred Prayer, Pipe Carrier, Water, etc., that will assist you enhancing your spiritual callings. Other ONAC medicine people that may give you insights in ways to serve your community by implementing any one of ONAC habilitative programs. We cordially invite you to become a member of Oklevueha Native American Church spiritual community. Oklevueha Native American Church card offerings. Oklevueha Native American Church membership card, lifetime membership, $200. Oklevueha federally recognized tribal and or ONAC independent branch card, lifetime membership, $30. Oklevueha Native American Church membership military service veteran card, lifetime membership, $20. Associate membership for those who are joining for a short time, less than 1 year, in order to make connections with branches and other members or participate in or assist us in our work sustaining and defending Native American culture, ceremonies, and medicines. The Oklevueha Native American Church is a spiritual approach to empowering and healing life, rather than a doctrinal hierarchy organization. As such, it occupies a unique place among American religious practices. Membership in ONAC, Oklevueha Native American Church, does not require that you leave your current church. Indeed, it actually encourages you to become more committed and involved in the beliefs, customs, and covenants that you have already made in your life, as long as those things are based in truth and respect. Oklevueha Native American Church honors the great spirit of traditional Native American practice and Mother Earth, and we believe that they have taught our ancestors natural and respectful ways of healing and blessing the human soul, human body, and all our relationships. The difference is that Oklevueha Native American Church has been recognized as having special consideration and opportunity to bless its members through Native ceremonies and sacraments that have been passed down since before recorded history. These ceremonies and sacraments are protected by numerous laws in the United States and many other countries. Indeed, the first right specified in the Bill of Rights is the right to free exercise of religion without government interference. Native American Church higher court ruling, including the U.S. Supreme Court, have verified and solidified the Native American Church's right to conduct these ceremonies and use plants and herbs not available to the general public for healing and empowerment. These natural substances, such as peyote, cannabis, ayahuasca, when combined with direction and ceremony from a qualified medicine man or woman, have a powerful transformative effect for good. Many people have been healed from chemical dependencies, abusive or addictive tendencies, and even physical ailments. Programs using these ceremonies in prisons have contributed to massively reduce recidivism, return to illegal activities, and incarceration. Many others have been able to overcome long-term self-defeating behaviors and have been able to reconcile with family members and church fellowships regardless of denomination. Participants have returned to productive and positive lifestyles and have often reported strengthened marriages, recommitment to spiritual values, and a closer relationship with the Great Spirit with their original. Because of massive evidence showing the positive effects of these sacraments and ceremonies, public opinion in favor of doing away with legal penalties for use of these non-addictive natural plants and herbs, especially in healing, pain management, and ceremony. Until these things are actually legalized on the state and federal level, however, the only way to safely take advantage of the help and blessings available from these God-given plants without fear of arrest is through Native American religious practices, which are protected from government interference or punishment. Those who choose to join the Oklevueha Native American Church are essentially standing up for their constitutional rights to participate in and to hold indigenous, earth-based, empowering, healing ceremonies and the cultivation and transportation of ONAC and or its independent branches sacraments. You may join this movement by simply acquiring an Oklevueha Native American Church membership card, Oklevueha Native American Church membership, federal recognized tribal and or Oklevueha Native American Church independent branch card, Oklevueha Native American Church military service or veteran card. These cards will be issued in accordance with ONAC policies and bylaws, including the commitment of the applicant to abide by the ONAC Code of Ethics. Legal precedence dictates that the Oklevueha Native American Church has the same full constitutional rights and protections as any other legally registered church in the United States of America. Constitutional rights have been in place since September 17, 1787. An Oklevueha Native American Church membership card serves to protect the sacred use and transportation of ONAC sacraments, which the federal government and a majority of state governments still legal under any other situation. Many of them are still unaware of the unique constitutional rights of Oklevueha Native American Church. With this in mind, 3 United States higher courts unanimous United States versus Robert Boyle, May 10, 1990, Federal 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, State of Utah versus Oklevueha Native American Church, State of Utah Supreme Court, and the UDV versus United States Supreme Court expressed very clearly and concisely that any and all government agencies have no legal authority to influence any church with its ideology, bylaws, or limit participation member in a church's religious practices based on race, American Native, or political affiliation, federally recognized tribes. The Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Person Act of 2000 clearly and concisely states that all United States, as a matter of law, are obligated to honor Oklevueha Native American Church members' access to American Native Indigenous sacred ceremonial grounds and or the use or transportation of Oklevueha Native American Church sacraments, plant, cactus, herb, mushroom, etc. State and federal government officials are required to protect these constitutional rights of the Oklevueha Native American Church and its members. These unanimous higher federal and state law establishes an abundantly clear understanding. All members of a Native American church have the constitutional rights to worship with any and all earth-based sacraments, especially peyote. With this understanding, should an ONAC member be stopped on the highway by any law enforcement officer while possessing a Native American church sacrament, he or she are encouraged to submit their ONAC membership card with their driver's license. The moment an officer of the law is made aware that a person is an ONAC member in an investigative procedure and verifies that person's identity, such officer of the law is put on notice that they will be held accountable for any violation of your civil liberties under the following laws. Title 18 U.S.C. Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. This statute makes it a crime for any person acting under color of law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom to willfully deprive or cause to be deprived from any person those rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution and laws of the U.S. This law further prohibits a person acting under color of law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom to willfully subject or cause to be subjected any person to different punishments, pains, or penalties than those prescribed for punishment of citizens on account of such person being an alien or by reason of his, her color, or race. Acts under color of any law include acts not only done by federal, state, or local officials within the bounds or limits of their lawful authority, but also acts done without and beyond the bounds of their lawful authority, provided that in order for unlawful acts of any official to be done under color of any law, the unlawful acts must be done while such official is purporting or pretending to act in the performance of his, her official duties. This definition includes, in addition to law enforcement officials, individuals such as mayors, councilpersons, judges, nursing home proprietors, security guards, policemen, etc., persons who are bound by laws, statutes, ordinances, or customs. Punishment varies from a fine or imprisonment of up to 1 year or both, and if bodily injury results or if such acts include the intended use or dangerous weapon, explosives, or fire, shall be fined or imprisoned up to 10 years or both. And if death results or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life or both to death. An Oklevueha Native American Church membership card is documented evidence that ONAC membership card holder has a proven sincerity standard level that qualifies he or she for all exceptions to the controlled substance laws of the United States, providing they are not in violation of any aspect of Oklevueha Native American Church Code of Ethics. Bless your heart, Reverend Jane Mooney. Let's read the Code of Ethics. Oklevueha Native American Church Code of Ethics. General Principles and Indigenous Spiritual Practices. The worldwide Oklevueha Native American Church and its branches are dedicated to the revival and preservation of ancestral, indigenous, native, earth-based, honoring cultures, religions, lifestyles, sacred rituals, healing sacraments, and loving humanitarian code of ethics and conduct that protect Mother Earth and all of her living beings from desecrations, pollutions of abuses for economic gains. Oklevueha Church and her branches accept all natural organic plants as healing sacraments, used for thousands of years and are central to our established religious beliefs and sacred ceremonies. These include A. Peyote, the significant indigenous earth-based healing sacrament Eucharist for this church. B. Any other indigenous earth-based healing sacrament, cannabis, San Pedro, ayahuasca, mushrooms, etc., that has been found to benefit the health and welfare of recipients, so long as it does not place them in harm's way. Note, Oklevueha Native American Church requires prior approval for any ONAC medicine person or branch wishing to lead any ayahuasca healing ceremonies. Spiritual facilitating leaders, medicine men, women of Oklevueha Native American Church are known by a variety of sacred callings: Chasta, clergy, curandera, doctor, elder, marakami, reverend, roadman, sacred prayer, pipe carrier, water pourer, shaman, indigenous ceremonial leader, etc. Those who are guided by Great Spirit and who are experienced in some ancestral American Native spiritual empowering and or healing practices and who act to facilitate the spiritual practices of others are honored with these titles. An Oklevueha Native American Church medicine person, spiritual and indigenous ceremonial leader need not claim exclusive or definitive knowledge of his or her practice, since wisdom and competencies are frequently developed over years of observation and experience, but must be approved to do this work either by their branch leadership council or by the leadership of ONAC. Responsibility to assure that those who act as ONAC medicine people, spiritual and indigenous ceremonial leaders, are trained, responsible, and have the wisdom and integrity to conduct ceremonies, and those who choose to work with sacraments rest with the branch leadership. See special note on those who choose to work with ayahuasca sacraments above. Even though one of Oklevueha Native American Church's primary purposes is to administer sacramental ceremonies, an Oklevueha Native American Church medicine person or indigenous ceremonial leader is free to choose not to administer a sacred sacrament during any particular ancestral, indigenous, earth-based American Native ceremony. The Oklevueha Native American Church respects all empowerment and healing modalities, including indigenous spiritual ceremonies, allopathic medicines, naturopathic, and integrative complementary medicines. ONAC honors the fundamental Hippocratic principle of do no harm to the spiritual, mental, emotional, and or physical being of any of our earthly relations. It recognizes that each healing and empowering modality is intended to promote the optimal health and well-being of the participant. It believes that all forms of care can be incorporated into empowerment and or healing for all of our relations in a complementary and integrated manner. Oklevueha Native American Church makes absolutely no claims about being in authority or having the ability to conduct saving ordinances. Oklevueha Native American Church is part of an indigenous, native, spiritual, earth-based healing and empowering international collective that serves individuals and the wider community whenever and wherever an ONAC member resides. ONAC is authorized to do this sacred work by special blessings from Little Dove Buford, Principal Chief of the Oklevueha Band of Seminole Indians, Clifford White Buffalo Man, Jake Bannock, Shoshone Roadman, Guadalupe Lupe Rios de la Cruz, Huichol Elder, Maracame, Anthony White Lightning Davis, Pawnee Roadman, Leslie Foolbowl, Lakota Sioux, President of the Rosebud Reservation, Native American Church, and Richard, he who holds the foundation, Swallow, Lakota Sioux Roadman, Sundance Chief. Oklevueha Native American Church is committed to grow by attraction through service rather than proselytizing for membership. All Oklevueha Native American Church indigenous ceremonies of North, Central, and South America, birth, breath, holy anointing, marriage, passing over, prayer pipe, sacrament, spirit dance, sun dance, sweat lodge, earth connecting ceremonies, and vision quests include or facilitate extreme mental, emotional, and physical transformations. Therefore, when a member chooses to participate in any ancestral, indigenous, earth-based Native American ceremony with the assistance of an Oklevueha Native American Church medicine person or spiritual leader, both take on special responsibilities and understandings. Both members and facilitating leaders should be aware of their responsibilities and those of the people they are working with. For leaders, inspiration and change. Efforts should be made to ensure that Oklevueha Native American Church spiritual practices are always inspired and conducted in ways that respect the common good, with due regard for public safety, health, and order. Medicine people shall use special care in assisting the direction of energies of those whom they serve, as well as their own energies, in responsible ways that reflect a loving and respectful regard for all life. Existing conditions. Disclosures previous to ceremony shall include, at a minimum, discussion of any elements of the ceremony that could reasonably be seen as presenting physical or psychological risks. In particular, first-time authorized participants must be advised that American Native ceremonies can be difficult and dramatically transforming. Watchfulness. The medicine people will monitor the health and safety of participants during the ceremony and the few hours of vulnerability that may follow a ceremony carefully and with reasonable preparations. They will also ensure that all those who participate in ceremony or proposal counseling where controlled substances are present are members of Oklevueha Native American Church. If the person in question does not have a valid membership card, the leaders of medicine people will verify the standing of the person in question with the main office of ONAC before allowing them to participate. Inclusiveness. Oklevueha Native American Church ceremonies are to be conducted in the spirit of service. Medicine people accommodate members and authorize participants' race, religious affiliation, gender, cultural background, financial status, and/or political affiliations. Vulnerability. Oklevueha Native American Church medicine people are aware during ceremony that members and authorized participants may be especially open to suggestion. Medicine people pledge to protect participants and not to allow anyone to use that vulnerability in ways that harm themselves or others. For ONAC members, preparation and safety. Each participant in Oklevueha Native American Church ceremonies must agree to comply with all directions or instructions concerning the safety and well-being of all in attendance from 1 hour prior, during, and 3 hours after ceremonies being conducted by an Oklevueha Native American Church medicine person. Life changes. Often the increased awareness gained from American Native spiritual and indigenous ceremonies will catalyze a desire in the participants' lives for personal and social change. In most cases, these changes should only be made after deep introspection and consideration as to how they will affect the other beings connected to the participant. Existing conditions. ONAC members agree to disclose to the ONAC spiritual leaders any previous conditions prior to any ceremony that might be affected in any way during a ceremony, including at a minimum discussion of any concerns as to how those conditions could be reasonably seen as presenting physical or ONAC members also agree to disclose to the ONAC spiritual leaders any previous conditions they are aware of in other participants that might affect a ceremony. Watchfulness. ONAC members agree to assist the medicine people in monitoring the health and safety of all participants during the ceremony and the few hours of vulnerability that may follow a ceremony. Consent of participant. The autonomy and dignity of each member and/or authorized participant are to be respected and preserved by Oklevueha Native American Church medicine people and indigenous ceremonial leaders. Participation in any Oklevueha Native American Church ceremony must be voluntary and based on prior disclosure and consent given by each participant while in an ordinary rational state of consciousness. For ONAC leaders and members. Respect. Oklevueha Native American Church leaders and members agree to conduct themselves in ways that cultivate awareness, empathy, and wisdom for all members during ceremonies. ONAC members also agree to respect, empower, and continually support the ONAC medicine people and indigenous ceremonial leaders as they serve the ONAC community. Limitations. Limits on the behaviors between ONAC members and ONAC medicine people and indigenous ceremonial leaders are to be made clear and agreed upon in advance of any indigenous American Native ceremony. Minors. Those under 18 years old will not be admitted to ceremonies where controlled substances are present unless all of the following requirements are fulfilled. The medicine person gives specific permission for their attendance. A parent or legal guardian attends with them and takes full responsibility of their care and well-being. The minor person is a member of Oklevueha Native American Church, and a document stating these things is signed by all affected parties. Confidentiality and customs. Cultural, religious customs, and confidentiality of all participants are to be accepted and honored by all ONAC members. Abuse not protected. Oklevueha Native American Church has zero abhors any manner of physical and/or sexual abuse of any underage person, and any abuse and/or exploitation of any person in any physical and/or sexual form. The violation of this fundamental ethic by any ONAC member will subject the violator to the full consequences of the laws of the land. Sacraments under direction of medicine people. Members of Oklevueha Native American Church agree that any substance emitted into the body may be considered to be a sacrament. Some of those substances have the potential to be harmful if inappropriately used. The Oklevueha Native American Church does not approve of the utilization of any sacrament in a manner that would be likely to cause harm to oneself or to others. Therefore, members agree that controlled substances must be used under the direction of ONAC medicine people, sacramental ceremonial leaders, to be legally protected. This direction extends to their personal private use when not in ceremony or direct contact with the medicine people. Members agree that sacraments, medicines should always be stored in such a way that they are not available to those who are not members or are not under the direction of medicine people. Personal or recreational use of any controlled substances is not encouraged and may remove some legal protections unless such is indicated by the member's spiritual advisor or medicine person as being part of their spiritual and healing practice. If the leader does make such indication, they share in the legal responsibility for such use. Inclusiveness. Oklevueha Native American Church ceremonies are to be conducted in the spirit of service. ONAC members agree to participate in ceremonies respecting all participants and leaders without regard to race, religious affiliation, gender, cultural background, financial status, and/or political affiliations. Legal standing. Members and branch leaders, including medicine people, do not have legal standing to represent or involve Oklevueha Native American Church. No legal actions, including lawsuits, civil actions, and legal complaints, among others, taken by members and leaders can indicate that the church is part of that action. Any situation where legal actions require the involvement of ONAC must be handled by ONAC and by their legal representatives. Any legal action that includes the word Oklevueha, even when the word is part of the name and the branch, must specifically indicate that the action is being taken by the branch and not by the general church or its leaders or members. Wow. An appeal for prayer.
Live from Salt Lake City, Utah, Fox 13 News at 9.
Last month, the Native American Church got back what the state of Utah took from it 8 years ago.
Today, church members held a ceremony to celebrate the return of their peyote chief, a plant, and a powerful hallucinogen. Fox 13's Katie Carlisle has that story.
I'm one of the chief that have stand for what our freedom was given, and that freedom is our religion.
A Native American tradition continues despite the state of Utah's best efforts.
Historically, the government has only stepped in to squash our beliefs.
In 2000, James Warren Flaming Eagle Mooney was arrested for using peyote in religious ceremonies. Prosecutors filed charges against him and the Oklevueha Native American Church.
It's one of the oldest, I guess you would say, of sacraments that our people know.
That sacrament has been responsible for literally thousands of people to overcome drug addictions, alcoholism.
The Utah Supreme Court ruled in favor of the church, saying members could use peyote. And when federal prosecutors began to pursue action, the Utah Federal Defender's Office came to the church's aid. No charges were ever filed. This ceremony was meant to honor those defenders.
Their appreciation, that's what they're going to give here.
The Defender's Office also helped the church get back this plant the church calls the peyote chief.
They actually came during a crisis to protect our spirituality.
Church leaders say the peyote chief presides over their religious ceremonies, and they had to get a new one after this was confiscated back in 2000. Authorities let it dry out, which church leaders consider sacrilegious.
But church members say the dried peyote plant still maintains its power and therefore its place in their religious ceremonies.
Our way of worship a way of our thinking and the language. Every one of these we use to praise the Almighty God.
Katie Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
They can't outlaw anything natural we use to praise the Almighty God. Bless your hearts, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, lovers. I need $250 to get my membership documents from Warren. I have links below. Please send me some money to PayPal. If 250 of you send $1, I'll be able to get this by next week. Thank you. Goodbye. PayPal.me/Nathan Starchild. www.natestevens.bandcamp.com. Jama Alaha at Facebook. JAHMAH space ALAHA. Facebook.com.